All right, guys. So you got the Ed puzzle. We're going to be looking over the creation of this magazine setup and going over how to do it once more, as well as what your assignment is going to look like for today. All right, so let's jump into InDesign. So I've already got this opened up, and I want to show you guys how we got to this point. Let's go ahead. We're just going to click. I'm going to go home. I'm going to click New File. I'm going to go ahead and I want to make sure I have facing pages, which means two pages facing each other. I'm going to tell it 3 pages. All right, that'll be the first one would be our cover page, and then the next two are going to be facing each other. All right, when we're doing this, you can do 8.5 by 11 setup. That is fine. Or if you want to go here, you can go ahead and kind of look through. And one of the most common presets for what actually is a magazine is going to be that A4 setup. And once again, make sure you have 3 pages. And then we're going to go ahead and click Create. All right, so what you're going to notice is we have our top page. This would be like the front page, and then we have here. All right, so I want to move to where I have this. Now, the first tool I'm going to use is going to be this rectangle tool. I'm going to drag to this top corner until I see that cursor that is made, and I'm going to drag down, and that creates a rectangle. If I go over right here to where stroke is, I'm going to turn that up to about a 7 or an 8, and there we go. That is how I added that outline. Now, I've got my outline. Let's go ahead and I'm going to choose that. Then I'm going to hold Command L. What that does, you can see this blue lock here. That locks that in place. Now, up next, I want to go ahead. I'm going to add this picture here. Now, when I went to Google, all right, so I'm going to pull this up here. And when I look for Google Images, if we're not using Unsplash, I'm going to look up Pokemon pictures, right? When I'm looking for this, I want to make sure under Images here, I want to use the tools. And I want to make sure I tell it I want to be looking for a large icon. And that's where you're going to see I found my pictures as I scrolled through. I actually don't see the ones I'm looking for, but that is how I got it, okay? And they popped up here, and you save that. Now, to make sure we understand how to save, we'll just make a little tweak here. I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to say Save Image As, and then as it does that, make sure it's got to load. As it does that, I'm going to go ahead and name it the Pokemon here. It's going to save to my download. I'm going to click Save. Now, I got two options. I can go here and insert this, right, into InDesign by quickly going here. I'm going to say File, Place. All right. And when I do that, I can go under Downloads, and you can see where it is already there. And I can click Open, and I can place it in here. Now, remember, I want to generally use my content tool. Now, you can see, even though I did that, it did not download as a good quality image. Now, remember, to expand, use that free transform tool. I'm going to recognize that this isn't necessarily the best one here. And I'm actually doing this. So this middle line right here is showing the middle. So this picture is going to go from one page to the next, all right, as if it's carrying over. Now, let's go ahead and find us another picture. I want to use one that I've already downloaded. So with selecting off that, I'm going to hit File, Place, all right, and then I can just use one of these pictures I've already used before. All right, this is what a much higher quality picture looks like. Remember, if you want to add a frame tool beforehand, instead of having to size this down like I just did, I'm going to actually go back for you guys so you can see. Instead of doing that, what we can do is we can tell a frame and say, actually, I want this picture to kind of fit into this area. And let me adjust that by pulling on it. All right, and now when I click File, Place, now that that's selected, when I go to insert that, it's going to put that picture into that frame. And then I can use my frame fitting tools over here to make it fit. And just like that. Now, with my free transform tool, I will go ahead and drag this up so that there is some space here at the bottom. You can see that white there. All right, we could use our guides to make sure this is exactly right. And there you can see I have it at 1 inch and 1 inch if you look over here. All right, and so what I may do is I'm going to go ahead and shrink that down a little bit using my free transform tool. Shrink that down. All right, so same thing on this side. You can make sure that you have that proper spacing. So it starts at 16, so I'm going to come over to 15 and up. And there we go. That gives it that inch. Actually, I need it at the half. All right, so there we go. We should have pretty good spacing there as needed. Now, to add text as we've done before, You're going to use the type tool, insert a place, all right, and then simply type what you want, all right. As we have that, you can Command A to automatically select all that, and then look through the fonts that you have downloaded, all right, and look at your recently used ones, and then change the size right here as needed. And another thing I want you guys to notice, remember, you have left alignment left, which is it is now, center alignment, right alignment. Now you do have other options you can do to make sure everything stays together, all right, certain ways, but generally with a title, I want to go with that center alignment there. And I'm going to go ahead and center that on this page here, in between there. All right. Now, as I'm adding more text, all right, I'm going to draw that text box, and I'm actually just going to go ahead. Remember, I right click and I can tell it to insert with placeholder text, and is going to add that for me. Now, to show you what those different alignments, left align, you can see everything is aligned to the left. If I do right align, everything is aligned to the right, and then center, everything is based on that line, based on that. Now, if you look over here to the left, you can see how you can do different ones, where it justifies and looks better. So in this case, everything fills completely until you go to that next section or paragraph break, or you can have it justify all lines to where it does that. But what you'll see happens here is you'll get some spaces in here that are unwanted because it is keeping that. So even if you delete that, you're going to see some errors there as you want, because it's wanting to keep that space free. All right, so just to make sure you guys realize that left align, it lines it up left, center in the center, right on the right. Make sure you understand how to add and do all these. So what I want you guys to do, I want you guys to go into Google. I want you guys to look at magazine examples, and then I want you to recreate a magazine. You can either do one you find online, or you can use one in the classroom. I want you to look at the 2 pages, okay? So if we were to find, I don't know if we're going to find one online without this. You'll have it like this. I don't want it like this. I want you to compare 2 pages. So we may look up facing pages. That way you can see too. So in this case, if you wanted to recreate this one, this is what I would want you to do. Insert your pictures as needed. But I want you guys to find 2 pages, as you can see, like this would be the center here, and recreate one you find online. And that is going to be your submission today. Let me know if you guys have any questions.